Okay, this is lesson 22. Solving quadratics by taking a square root. So this is another way to solve, okay? We taught you how to do Xbox. Quadratic is when we have x squared, or a squared term is the biggest term, and we have to solve the answers. We know that there are as many answers as there are the largest exponent, okay? We could take a square root when there's no b, okay? If there's no b, then you could just move quickly to the square root function, okay? So here are the steps. Here we go. Okay, so you could still use Xbox on these, but when there's no b, right, then we could just go straight to a square root. So look up here, number 1, negative 8x squared is equal to negative 168. I know it's a quadratic because it's x squared, so there's two answers. And this is the first term, this is my a, and this is my c, this is my constant, but there's no x to the first, right? Do y'all see an x to the first up there? No, that's my b term. There is no b term. So now I could solve using take a square root. So the first thing I'm going to do is isolate the x squared, okay? So next to the x squared is a multiply sign. So the opposite of multiplying by negative 8 is divide by negative 8. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 8. I'm trying to isolate it. So these two cancel out, leaving just x squared is equal to, and then we got negative 168 divided by negative 8. It's going to be a positive number. It's going to be positive 21, okay? So that's the first step. Now my x squared term is isolated, okay? Since x squared is isolated, now I could take a square root of both sides. I'm going to take a square root here and take a square root here. Square root and square cancel out, leaving just x. Whenever I take a square root, I have two answers, a positive and a negative answer. So the positive and negative answer is positive negative 21. Okay, does that make sense? Another way you could do it is square root of make two equations: square root of positive 21 and the square root of x is equal to the negative square root of 21. Okay, can I simplify square root of 21? Remember from a couple weeks ago we talked about simplifying. Can I? Nope, there's nothing I could do. So you can write your answer like this, or you can write your answer like x is equal to positive and negative square root of 21. Okay. Those are a couple ways you could do it. You could also do set notation, which is that parenthesis with a little point at the end. Positive and negative square root of 21. Okay, and that's it. Okay, I saw some looks out there, so watch me do number 1 again. One more time. We have an a term, there's no b term, so I'm going to isolate, so I'm dividing both sides by negative 8. Okay, we get x squared is equal to square root or 21. Then we take the square root of both sides. When I do that, I get two answers. X is equal to positive rad 21, and x is equal to negative rad 21. Another way I could write it is x is equal to positive negative rad 21, or I could write set notation. Okay, that's number 1. Watch me do number 2 now. Number 2. Okay, we got 25x squared. X squared is the largest exponent up there. Minus 4 is equal to 32. Okay, so there is an a, there is constants here and here. They're not all together. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my constants together. I'm going to add 4 to both sides because I want to isolate the x squared term. So we got 25x squared is equal to positive 36. Okay. Alright, then I need to isolate the x squared term again, so I'm dividing both sides by positive 25. So we get x squared is equal to 36 over 25. I can't simplify this, so now I take a square root of both sides since x squared is already isolated. So I'm going to square root this side and the right side. So we get x is equal to positive and negative square root of 36 over square root of 25. Square root of 36 is 6. Square root of 25 is 5, so it's going to be 6 over 5. Is it okay to leave your answer as an improper fraction? Yeah, improper fractions are okay. I know that they've taught you that they're improper because they're not supposed to look like that. They're actually okay to leave like that, okay? They did that because they're teaching you about whole numbers all the way up until now, but now you should know what they are. Okay, and that's it. Any questions? Okay, so let's have 1 tell 2's about number 1, 2 tell the 1's about. Okay, number 3. Number 3, do you notice that there's a B term? Yes or no?
There's no B term.
There is no B term, right? There's an A and there's a C. So what would you do? Turn to your neighbor, tell them what would you do first? Okay, we're dividing by 4 first, right? So we got dividing both sides by 4. So we got P squared is equal to what? 19, okay. Okay, finish this up and then show me your answers. 30 seconds. Oh, sorry. P is equal to positive, negative, rad 19. Excellent. So this was positive and negative rad 7. Or positive, negative 7, sorry, not rad 7. That's your answer. Or your 2 answers. And it's totally okay to put that plus minus sign, okay? Plus minus sign, that is like showing we have 2 answers that are the same absolute value. Yep.
If we put A equals stack equals 2.
That's fine, yep. Yep. Okay, number 5. Number 5. Let's do this one together. What would you do first? Add or subtract 8? Add 8. Okay, so we're going to add 8 to both sides first, which makes this 3k squared is equal to what? Negative 29. What would you do next? Okay, I'm going to divide by 3. Looks good to me. So k squared is equal to what? Negative 29 over 3, right? Can I simplify that at all? No. Okay. What do I do next? Square root, right? So k is equal to positive and negative rad negative 29. Let me do it this way. Okay. What happens when you have a square root of a negative? Why don't you turn your neighbor and try to recall what you're supposed to do with a negative sign. Ready, go. Distribute? No. Square root of a negative sign. We used to say, what was that? Square root of a negative sign is? Before this class, used to be no solution, right? Is there such thing as a negative square root of a negative? No, but there is now, because it's what square root of a negative sign is? I, right? So you could simplify by going k is equal to positive and negative I times rad 29 over 3. Let me make sure you have that answer on your boards. I'm going to look around in 10 seconds. Go. Okay, looking up here, the first thing you're going to do is add 2 to both sides. Negative 8x squared is equal to negative 155, right? Divide both sides by negative 8. Negative divided by negative is really a what? So we got x squared is equal to positive 155 over 8. Take the square root of both sides. X is equal to positive and negative square root of 155. Over 8 square root. Okay, now on this one, I'm going to split the square roots, okay? What can I simplify out of the denominator? 2, right? So it's going to be 2 rad 2, right? Okay, so x is going to be equal to square root of 155 over 2 rad 2. And this is an answer that's okay with me. Let's see, 5, 11, 55, 3, 1. This one's okay for me for now. We're going to talk about rationalizing the denominator, but this one would be okay for today, okay? There's still one more step after that. So whenever you see a square root of a number you can simplify, remember you could always do a little bit more if you can, okay? Does that make sense? Whereas this one, could we simplify rad 29 or 3? Nope, that's it. All right. So that concludes the lesson. Sorry this went quickly.